Hi, loved humans. I wanted to create this video to support anybody out there who might need some words of encouragement and perhaps a new perspective that will go a long way in assisting you in this growth spurt that you're probably in, even though it may look like a contraction. Everybody I know is experiencing the ongoing expansion and contraction, expansion and contraction in our growing, in our rebirthing, and our new human self that's being born. This new human self is a human that is moving away from the 3D world and moving into a higher, more expansive dimension. And we'll just call one 3D and we'll call the other one spiritual. The thing that is motivating these challenges that we are seeing is love. It's not the kind of love that 3D people know about. 3D people, love has a certain parameter that fits a certain standard of what love is. Oftentimes that 3D definition of love is judgmental. It's survival. It is a sense of separateness. And the spiritual dimension is just the opposite of all of that. So the spiritual love is absolutely non-judgmental for anything, for any reason. Non-judgmental, nothing, no judgment. Can't judge. Love can't judge. What it does do is it nudges the humanity that is poised for change. Poised because we have tried to do it on the 3D dimension and it's not working. And so now we're tired. We're realizing that the game's up. So poised for change would be desperation. Desperation and absolute frustration with the way things are. So love comes in and it prompts the need for change. And so it hits the human mind, and the collective mind takes on the challenge of trying to implement that change. And the way we do that is we go to the 3D to try to implement change. Ironically, things change, but oh my God, it's the hard way to go. But nonetheless, that's where we are. Love prompts the change, hits the 3D mind of survival and how do I make this change, and uses the material world and the physical world to implement that change. And there is a huge awakening to the need of that change, and so change occurs. My job, and I think a lot of healers' jobs, is to remind people of what is the thing that's motivating the change. It's love. It's the kind of love that can no longer tolerate certain behavior from humans. And because love can't stand by for very much longer. And there's a critical point where it starts imploding. And so love steps in and says, now's the time. And we've all felt that in those of us who've gone on this journey of healing and expansion, we have felt that, and we've been moving toward that in our individual lives, and now we're seeing it in the collective. So bottom line is there's 3D love where there's judgment and there's a conviction for safety, and there's a need to keep the light under the bushel, and there's a love that you give me this and I'll give you that, and it's conditional. The spiritual love is no conditions. It is always open for the invitation of expansion. Its desire is to have humans have a more glorious experience in this paradise that we've been put into than we've been able to give ourselves. due to our lack of awareness of what love really is. So this huge shift in consciousness that is occurring, that the pandemic and the challenges of the racial divide and the monetary divide and the divide that the idea of separateness occurs, that's from love. And all I'm doing in my own life is saying yes to that, trying to recognize it as best as I'm able. Doesn't mean that I keep toxic people in my life. It doesn't mean that I am always cheerful and happy and think that this is a glorious occurrence. But on my good days, on my days where I know that I'm connected, I know that there's no separation, I know that there's only love, that's when I see what's really possible here. And I move toward that every day. I move toward that every day, as best as I'm able. And the days that I don't get bought into the 3D world and I see what the Spirit's doing behind the scenes and under the scenes and around the scenes and in the individuals and in the human collective, I understand. I understand. And those are blissful days. My job is to have more blissful days, and hopefully this email has helped you do the same. Here's to blissful days. I hope I made some sense. Reach out if you need to. Bye.